I share what I'm listening to and my thoughts on music and the business daily for free at helloyassine.com. What's poppin', y'all? On today's episode of Hip Hop Hypocrisy, in particular for the audience, Lil Baby was accused by Atlanta police for instigating 2 teen murders in 2024. I'm going to play you guys the clip right now, and then we're going to get straight into it.
Investigation aspect of this, Lamont Freeman was allowed to be a 13-year-old for 27 minutes before gang violence ultimately took his life. Gang violence that was orchestrated by adults in our city. And cowardly acts of an Atlanta-based rapper that decided to go over into a rival gang stronghold and shoot a music video in a place that he knew he should not have been. And in the subsequent days, we saw homicides and shootings, and ultimately the deaths of 2 children as a result of his cowardly actions. And you know who you are. And I tell you that this team will work relentlessly to hold you and the persons that you are affiliated with responsible for those actions.
So this situation was the 7 arrests that were tied to the killings of a 13-year-old, Jacody Davis, and Lamont Freeman, 13 years old. And this is the thing. Now, am I blaming Lil Baby for this? This is the problem, though. Lil Baby sounds around the same time that he dropped 4PF, which was around late 2023 or so. And the situation comes with this need to constantly be in the streets to the degree that Lil Baby and other rappers similar to him have demonstrated. But the problem with this isn't just what Lil Baby did. Am I blaming Lil Baby for anything? I really don't know the politics of Lil Baby, the street stuff that he's involved in too much. I'm not too concerned about it. What I am concerned about is how the audience picks and chooses. Now, this doesn't look good for Lil Baby because we know he switched up his branding from 4PF to whatever new movement that he's got that we don't even remember. I remember 4PF. This new name that he got, and the name, it's not even on the tip of my tongue. I wish I could say it was. I would be lying if I said the name was on the tip of my tongue. I don't even remember what the name was. I think it was like or something like, everybody getting money, some nonsense like that. It's a record label, a different entity entirely, because he was spooked by these Ricos that they used to go after Young Thug, and he doesn't, even if he ends up getting probation or whatever ridiculous plea that Young Thug was able to get and to stay home, although he couldn't even go to Atlanta and has to stay out of trouble. Young Thug had to sit in jail for 2 years to get that and had to pay all these lawyer fees and just go through all this stress. So Lil Baby for sure wants to avoid that. But the fans, for some reason, are saying, well, it's their fault for not being able to protect people. And now a citizen can't go and travel around there. And they're always blaming the rapper when it's their fault or it's the people that he's beefing with's fault. Now, let's just be honest here. If you're assuming that this is a situation, if you're shooting a music video in op territory, what are you doing, man? Exactly. You know what you're doing. But for some reason, the rapper is never at fault for the audience. It's the police's fault. Yet when Trap Lord Ross or Academics or any of these other outlets, I don't even talk about these guys, so can't point the finger at me. Talk about these street rappers and the beefs that they got, even No Jumper, we could call it. It's their fault for instigating situations. When they are media, they are not directly involved whatsoever. Other than No Jumper, the rest of these people are so far and removed from whatever city they're talking about that they're not even friends with the people over there. Yet murders, deaths, and overall grief is levied on their name because they talked about a situation that happened that was public knowledge and it was already being spread around on the internet. Do you see how that makes sense? And this is one of the most irritating things you have to deal with if you're in hip hop at all. It's this, not sanctification, but this cleansing of responsibility from the rapper for anything and everything. So a blogger will get blamed for instigating and causing deaths when 100%, 1000% they didn't have anything to do with that. And some of them will even take responsibility for it, shockingly enough, and the audience will agree. So the rap fans will agree with that. However, if a rapper is directly involved, and we've got people like Juice WRLD who ended up dying because Future was glorifying drugs, it's Man, his parents not there to watch over him? Come on now. Or people that start getting into the gang stuff because of drill music. Listen, man, drill music spread globally, and people thought, especially young people, thought that drill and stuff was cool. There are countries and cities in countries that never had gangs, that have gangs now, that are just committing violent crime. I'm not going to name the exact ones. I've spoken to these people. They're, yeah, dude, before like 7 years ago or 8 years ago, we really didn't have crime like that. Now these young kids, they're tripping. So drill music spreads this. Nobody's going to blame Chief Keef. And I'm not saying we should blame Chief Keef, but if you're going to levy responsibility at a blogger or a reporter or an investigator or a journalist or a media personality, then you 1,000% need to be aiming at the rapper too. But if a rapper steals, it was probably his management. He probably couldn't get to it. Like, for example, like Polo G's situation, when his brother's stealing on his behalf, and we know that he's allowing that to happen. Man, that's just Polo G. Now, granted, people have been going in on Lil TJ, which is a topic for another day. But I'm concerned about Lil Baby, but I'm also intrigued. Because if a case happens to befall Lil Baby, I will be able to learn a lot about the 4PF history, what he was getting into in his crimes in the past. Because Lil Baby was talking a lot of what sounded like cap, saying he was making $10K a day or 10 or 15K a day just flipping packs in the streets, and Young Thug had to pull him out because he was making so much money. Like, man, I'm not gonna lie, I don't believe that at all. So if he says 10K a day, I'm thinking it's 1,500, because a rapper's always got a 10x, right? They say my jewelry's 1.5 million. That's probably 115,000 or 150,000 for the nerd that's gonna come in and say, oh no, that's not 10%. Yeah, 150,000. How about that one? And I get to learn more about that. But for Lil Baby's case, I think he's sweating because a lot of the time, and we saw this with Young Thug, we saw this with Lil Durk, or we are seeing this with Lil Durk, we saw this with 6ix9ine. When the rapper thinks, oh, okay, it's time for me to shed the crimes, they may be crime-free for a couple of years, but they're going to go back through your catalog. Just like your catalog's worth a bunch of money and you can sell it for a ton, in the same way your criminal catalog may catch up with you. And I think they're combing through everything that Lil Baby's got going on, everything he had going on, anybody that may be associated with him. And you just need a couple of people to start pointing the finger, and he's in big trouble. Now, I'm just wondering where 21 Savage is at, because 21 Savage was part of this whole Atlanta thing that they had going on. And from what I've heard, 21 Savage has been away, not fully away, but 21 Savage has been away from this stuff for quite a while. And 21 Savage has also been away from rap as a whole. Like, after her loss, what has 21 Savage really done much of? Granted, I'm not saying or alluding to 21 Savage possibly falling off or anything like that. I think he fell back while this beef was going on, because you can't be 21 consistently dropping whilst your whole clique is beefing with each other. And he did drop that song, or he appeared on that song with Central C, which was a very good look for him. I would get into, we'll ask that question. What do you guys think of American Dream? Because I remember that was either the end of December or the beginning of January when 21 Savage released that album. And there were mixed reviews about it. I think it did fine commercially. But it's crazy that my initial thought was that he was gone for so long. But when I think about it, he dropped an album last January. It's just that this beef feels like it's been going on for forever. So everything feels further away than it is. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Go to helloyassine.com and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Peace.